There we are. Hello. Leander, I need to get your lighting set up because it is so good right now.
Oh, thanks. It is. It's because I've got an overhead lighting, and then I do have a lamp right here. It wasn't always that way. I thought about it, especially like, when we're recording in the winter time and it kind of gets darker. Bad weather makes it feel darker. And so it is because of that. It's very helpful.
Where I am right now, I cannot fit any lights because I'm on a desk that's in a corner. At some point, I am planning on rearranging some of this room. And I had the brilliant idea. I was like, there's more room between, because like I can touch my bed right now, the corner of my bed. I am continually hurting myself on the corner of that bed because it's so tight. But there's more room in that corner. I was like, what if I moved all the bookshelves down, got a little cozy chair in the corner. And then I have the natural light from the windows and I don't have to close them every time I do sprints.
Yeah, because I have a window right here too, actually.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Natural lighting is just so wonderful. I love it, except when it's cloudy and decides to mess with my white balance.
Yep. Yeah, and then I look like a ghost.
My issue is that I will adjust, like it'll adjust for like the cloudy weather, and then it will come back, and my footage turns out kind of orangey. Like, anyways, we're still working on it. But how are you today?
I'm doing well. I'm so excited for our read-along to start. It's something I've been looking forward to, honestly.
I know. I'm like, I've been trying to read other books, so my thing has been like, well, but I want to read Little Thieves, but I want to start Little Thieves now. So reading's been going great, but it's going to start going better.
Yeah, and so I know you've reread this. This will be my first reread of it. How many times have you reread it? Because I'm really excited to finally join you and having got to experience this again.
So I reread it twice the year before last because I read it so this will be my fourth reread. Because I read it right before Painted Devils came out. I read it. Let me tell you, this makes Painted Devils hurt all that much more. When you know what's happened in Painted Devils, like we're going to be going here and you're going to be coming back on camera going, Margaret, I want to hit something. I'm so mad. I'm so because just like you're so like I was seething. Because I read it before Painted Devils, had all of that context from Painted Devils, and then we were doing a buddy read. I convinced everyone to read it during Amazing Readathon the first year. So I was like, all right, yeah. So this will be my fourth reread. I'm very excited. This will be the first time I get to read on my Pretty Illumicrate edition, though.
Yay! So exciting! It's beautiful. Oh my gosh, it's gorgeous.
Like, here's the thing: it's pretty. We don't even need this because this is just such a vibe.
I really love it.
Throw out the cover, but I don't need that cover because I could just put it on the shelf like this.
Especially even like the spine specifically, I'm in love with. I know it's like just the side details, but it's really.
No, seriously, I would be so happy to just have that on my shelf.
And the thing is, you also have the sprayed edges, like every corner, every side is so pretty.
Oh my god, I can't remember their name, but it's a very, very kind person. They found out I was looking for this because I'd gotten the Painted Devils one. They found out I was looking for this, and they're like, "Hey, I'll send it to you." So I didn't have to pay $100.
Because that's how much they really are. Like, especially when people are reselling them.
It drives me nuts how much people will resell the Illumicrate books because I know how much you paid for it. Like, I'm not saying don't get a little bit of extra off of it, but like it's just like it's price gouging.
Yeah, very true. It is.
It is. And I'm willing, like I think I would have been willing to pay like $50 for this. That seems like for a limited edition, that seems like a reasonable price. But yeah, anyways, so this is your first time rereading it.
Yes, and you know what? It's been a while because with Painted Devils coming out, I was really lucky. I was a part of a campaign where, they were trying to like promote it, and I had said that I was interested, but I hadn't read Little Thieves, and so I assumed they were just going to send me Little Thieves as an ebook. They sent me both Little Thieves and Painted Devils hardback editions, and I was like, I really hope I like it because you guys sent this, and I ended up reading both in the same month. Obviously in anticipation of Painted Devils, loved them. And then I was just like, okay, well now I'm just sitting here waiting.
I straight up, Brittany asked me if she should read this series. Like, she's like, I think I might like this series. And I was like, Brittany, wait until next year.
Yeah. Just so, because it is the anticipation, and then you're just like, because we also had to wait for like Holy Terrors, we had to wait for quite a time. It was scheduled a few times and it kept getting pushed back.
Was it?
Well.
Okay. I see, because I think by the time I knew when Holy Terrors was going to be released, it was the same kind of interval between this one and Painted Devils as between Painted Devils. So it's like there's like a 2-year thing between them. That I feel like that feels right. That feels like a normal thing to do. So what vibe do we want for the timer, by the way? Let's see. Like, we have countryside morning. I'm feeling a little bit of like this Toto forest. I feel like that kind of, fits the vibes of some things that are going to be in the book.
I was gonna say, I was like, a forest seems like, seems fitting.
It's a little bit more Studio Ghibli-esque.
Yeah, that's okay. You know what? We'll imagine.
So your first time reading this was probably around the same time I was rereading it for the first time.
Yeah, exactly. We didn't know it, but we were reading it together unintentionally.
On accident. I think we found out that we both liked it on like that live stream where someone was like, yeah, Margaret, tell everybody about Little Thieves, because they liked watching me spout gibberish trying to explain how much I love this book.
Yeah, and I was like, wait, I also love it.
Little Thieves besties. Anyways, let's check in with the comments a little bit.
Yes, let's do it.
Let's do that, because we've got quite a few people saying hello. Hello, Kendra. About an hour into the book and liking it so far. Very nice. Hey, Joanna. Not reading Little Thieves. I'll be reading The Luminaries by Susan Dennard. I also approve this choice. This was another one that I had to find the Illumicrate edition of the first book secondhand, because I didn't realize I was going to love it as much as I did. So, hey, Abs. We've got somebody reading Legends and Lattes, but may switch. I think you should. I think you should switch over to Little Thieves. Just,
Yeah, maybe juggle it Tuesday. You can do it.
Yeah, just just like read a chapter and see how you feel about it, and then. Reading That Time I Got Drunk and You Did a Love Potion and a Werewolf. I just got the first book for this one from my library.
Oh my God, that might be the longest title that ever existed.
Yeah, no, so you don't. This is the sequel to That Time I Got Drunk and like Saved a Demon or something. Is the first book?
Oh, I have heard of it.
People complained about the title of this book, and the author was like, has a very like, okay, well, if you're going to complain about this, I'm going to do it even harder. And she's literally said, every time someone complains about it, the title of the next book gets longer.
Oh my God. Honestly, I respect it. That's really funny.
I don't know if this will be a series for me, but I just love like the tongue-in-cheekness of the titles. So I have to at least try it. It's a Ro. Hey there, man. How are you? Hello, Lily, reading When the Moon Hatched. We have a Julie. I'll be starting Little Thieves soon, but I have 10% of Ace of Spades left, and I need to know the end. Oh, that book.
I'm reading it too. I'm actually buddy reading it with Julie and a few others right now. Yeah. And I'm nowhere near as far, though. I'm like 12 chapters in.
Yeah. Is this your first time reading it?
It is!
Okay, so Ace of Spades is famously one of the books that I was like, it'll be fine. I'm going to go on my evening walk. Didn't realize how close I was to the ending of that book. And the ending of that book has you like, you kind of stop breathing. So I am at my park walking and going, oh my God. Oh no. Like, and I can't keep that in.
People like looking out their window being like, what is going on?
Yeah,
I'm listening to something.
Planning on reading it because I believe it is the discussion for a book club. I might have just heard that the buddy read was happening and heard that instead, but I'm planning on rereading it this month.
Yes, it is also the book club for The Manor, by the way. So Only Murders in the Book Club. That's right. I should remember that because it's mine.
Yeah, your Patreon, which we will have to plug in the bottom because I just joined it and it's fun.
Oh, thanks. I appreciate it.
We've got Witchy Awakening with Linnea. Servasha! Hello, finishing up Blood Debts, about 50 pages left. This is also on my TBR for February. I'm going to read it. It's just going on TBRs until I read it. Like, I'm not giving up. Hello, Mindy. I'm reading The Stranger Times, currently 355, and hoping to finish whilst you're reading. Very nice. This will be my first read of Little Thieves. So excited, and also helps towards my goal of getting to my owned books. We love helping with goals. We've got another one that's their first time. Hey, Hillary. I'll be immersion reading it. Very nice. I tried to get the audiobook from my library, and it's very popular, so I didn't.
I did see that Hoopla has it for those who have Hoopla. Because I only read it physically the first time, and I thought about trying the audio. Yeah, and I've heard good things. So yeah, you can get it through Hoopla. Potentially, you should be able to for those who haven't.
So Leandra and I were discussing this prior to the live shows, that this will be my first time reading it when I don't have an audiobook. Because the last time I reread it, I think it was last time I read it was Amazing Readathon, but the one time I've read it physically, it was immersion reading because I was like highlighting as I went. But I don't. I'm working on a project right now, which means I need my brother's Audible account to be up and not mine. And he lives in a different state, so it's a pain in the butt to like switch between our accounts. So look at what is right there.
Yes.
Oh no, wait, I searched it. I'm dumb. I'm like, oh my God, it's right on my phone. No, I searched it.
That's why.
Anyways, do you have a second non-icy copy? You should put the second desk. Oh, I could do that. Yeah, because I have it. I have the original cover, and then I have the icy one. Maybe we have another person reading Little Thieves. Hello, I'm not reading Little Thieves today, although I hope to read it at some point this month. I'm reading Spark of the Everflame and deciding if I should DNF while getting to 50%. My advice is always, if there is anything about the book that still intrigues you, keep going. I've had a lot of books where I've been like, there's still something about this book that I'm interested and invested in. And then I'll get to the end, and it's been a 5-star book. Despite being, but if there isn't, cut that thing off.
And I can see, Stacy, if you're doing Get a Clue, you're probably trying to get to that 51% so you can count it for your team. And so the struggle.
Yeah. No, like that. Do what's going to be best for you based on how you're feeling about the book and whether or not you are actually intrigued. I don't need to enjoy a book. I just have to be interested in what's happening. So, hello, Kristen. So worth it. I keep hearing that, Servasha, which is why I'm so excited. Calling out Leandra's adorable little sweater and collar combo. I love your sweater. I wish I could wear a sweater right now.
I was trying to take the persona of a prefect. I was like, I want to be kind of studious.
Meanwhile, I put up in my Catwoman shirt.
Well, for the thumbnails, you dressed up, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna make up for it by kind of dressing up for this.
Yeah, I made that corset in college because I took a lot of costuming classes. I was actually looking at it, I was like, I need to just like dye remove this and re-dye it because the outside is starting to get kind of worn. And but I will literally pull that thing out every chance I get because I love it. So if anyone wants me to go on a rant about how corsets actually work, I'm here. Hi, I'm here 5 days a week. Hello, Glinda. Working on some assignments for grad school. Beautiful. Rereading The Last Empire. Nice. That's a good book. 2 is a typo. It happens. Not reading Little Thieves. We'll be working on The Perfect Family. Wearing Christmas pajamas. Hey, man. Pajamas are it. They're very comfy. And if you're not having to be on screen, you don't need to worry about what you're wearing. So, all right, we're almost through the comments. I am intrigued by the world and the mystery of what happened to the main character's mother, but there are certain things that are really bugging me. Yeah, I understand that one. I feel like if you're doing it for Get a Clue, it just makes sense to, like if you're really early in the book, maybe put it down. Maybe now's not the time. But if you are closer to 51%, just push through the 51% and decide then. Because even if maybe you don't finish it, forget a clue. Maybe you put it back down and you come back to it, revisit it later when it's not going to put you in a slump, right?
True.
Like DNFs don't have to be hard DNFs. So, hello, Missy. Reading Onyx Storm. Nice. Ooh. Okay. Are we ready to get into this?
We are ready. Let's do it.
I do need to go grab lunch.
Lunch.
First. I'm so bad on weekends, but I'm going to go grab lunch first, but then I'm going to sit down and I'm going to read while I eat my lunch. So
sounds good. Also, for those who don't have the physical copy, you may want to get it if you ever do, because it's gorgeous.
Even here's my suggestion: just stop by a bookstore and find someone. Just look through the pictures. Don't do it until you finish the book, though, if you're doing that, because some of them are a teeny tiny bit spoilery. Especially if you're reading the book. I feel like you could go through the pictures and they wouldn't spoil anything. But if you're reading the book and kind of know who some of the characters are, you could kind of make some conclusions based on things.
Very true.
Also, please admire. Nope, I showed this to Leander earlier, but this is my bookmark.
It's so funky.
Isn't it great? I feel like it color-wise it matches and theme-wise it matches.
Exactly. There we go.
So, got it from the New Romantics bookstore if you guys want to check that out. But let's go ahead. Let's remember how to use this stupid. It's not like I don't do this every week. It is the number of times I'll be like, hold on, guys, I've forgotten how to use StreamYard, and I literally used it like 2 days ago.
Same.
All right. Everything looked good. Beautiful. Yay. All right. We shall go in 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Okay, wait, I need to remove this so we can see our faces. There we are. So how did we do?
I'm so happy. Yeah. It's so good. And you know what? You remember the feelings of enjoying it, but just like the writing and the depiction of Vanya, I find her to be a really fun character on page. And I really like the setup. I am not nearly as far as Kendra in the comments, but I did just finish chapter 3. So I'm at page 44 in our copy.
I just started chapter 2 because I was downstairs making breakfast, which meant that I had to talk with my mother because she was in the kitchen. And, like,
of course,
reading is important, but, like, I like being able to live in this house.
Yeah.
So I just got to the point where they introduced Conrad, or Emmerich.
Emmerich, yes!
Like, literally, I'm turning my camera on as it's like, Prefect Conrad, and he's like, Junior Prefect. I'm like, oh my God, my son.
Yeah, he's like junior, actually.
Junior Prefect. So.
And Vanya's like, oh my gosh, maybe I shouldn't be as worried. I'm fine.
She's like, oh, he's gonna be he's gonna be easy to manipulate. And I'm just like, sweetie. Mm-hmm. That's what Catwoman thought about Batman too.
Exactly.
In her defense, once she knew, he is very easy to manipulate.
Yeah. And like she was also, having a bigger fear that someone else was visiting, that her betrothed.
So much relief.
Yeah. So there's like all of the, like, there was definitely a worse scenario, and then it kind of, it totally.
And then there's this like gawky boy that she's like, oh, he doesn't know what she's like, they sent the apprentice for me? I'm offended.
Yeah. And even when, he's like talking to all of the, the upper people, and they're like, we're in a party, you can't really interview us, let's just have fun. He's like, okay, I guess I'll just let you.
That is so funny too, because like if they had let him interview them, he might have caught her. There might not have been the rest of the book. So.
Yeah, and she may have not had to deal with the low god that she meets, because I'll say that I just finishing chapter 3. That's at that end she meets the low god, who then bestows a gift, as they say, on her, and she's like, this is probably the worst gift ever, thank you.
Yeah, you gotta love it. I love the narration style of this. Just like the voice that Margaret Owen has for Vanya is just amazing.
It's very clear. Like there's no, because sometimes when you're reading a book, you feel like their voice has changed, their personality isn't as. But I feel like Vanya is very clear in my mind.
Just on point, and I love that kind of narration too. I know that not everyone likes a voicey narrator, but I guess it's my theater background. I love when a narrator has some character to them.
Yeah, right? and I would argue she doesn't monologue too often. Like sometimes I'll see where someone will monologue for an entire page, and I'm just like, how has only a second gone by, like in the action?
We're literally sitting at a coffee shop, and she's telling us about these stories, like what's going on. She's like, oh yeah, so this.
Yeah, then this happened, and boy.
So here's the deal with my moms.
Yeah, and even like I feel like the one-liners. One of the chapters ends where like, and this is how I got caught, and then you're like, it's just it's very fun.
I keep picking this up upside down. I don't know what keeps happening, so I'm so excited to be getting into. Are you listening to the audiobook, or are you reading physically? Have you?
I did give in. I'm immersion reading it, so I've got the audio and I've got the physical, and it's been really lovely. Yeah. Like the audio is really well done.
Yeah. How are you? I was gonna ask how you're feeling about that audio, because I love it so much. Her voice, she's so good.
Yeah, and I love how like there's like even a different voice for the narration and then the dialogue. Sometimes when we have like a first person POV, the narration and the dialogue from that character is the same, but it's clearly different, which I like. It's a bit almost grainier, like she's got a bit rasp in the narration, and then we've got these clear dialogue. So I'm glad that that's the case.
I feel like, again, it's helping with that distinction between this is Vanya telling us a story, and then her like actually
living
how it was at the time that the story was happening. Like this is absolutely the story that she's telling her kids and grandkids, right?
Yeah, yeah, and especially because with that kind of like raspy voice, it does feel like she's reflecting from a time before, which is
Reflecting,
really fun.
and
Mhm.
someone's having a fit of apoplexy, going, "You shouldn't tell children to do that."
Yeah, she's like, "Oh, when I was young,
Yeah.
I went on some adventures."
We don't encourage thieving in this family. So, okay, let's go ahead. Let's see where everyone else is real quick. Um, we've still got so much time on like our break time, or we can talk for however long we want. But hello, thank you for joining us, Crystal. I wish I could be reading, but I'm going to use the camaraderie to edit my son's research paper. Hey, listen, sometimes we need those editors. How old is your son? Is this like a high school or a college? Or my mom is also my editor, or was also my editor for research papers. um, we had a nickname for her in my co-op that I will not repeat because in retrospect, it was not a great nickname to attach to anyone.
Okay.
But yeah, it was. She was the grammar something.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
I picking up what
In
you're putting down.
retrospect, you shouldn't jokingly call anyone that. You should
No,
not call
no.
anyone that unless they are actually one. So up to chapter 6 and having a great time. I know it's such a good time. This book is such a fantastic time. I've never read The Goose Girl. What it's based around? Has anyone? I have.
I
Have you?
haven't.
You
No,
haven't?
I
Okay,
still haven't.
it's I don't know if I've read the original, like the original Grimm's or whatever version of the fairy tale, but it is very much. I've read Shannon Hale's version and like kind of pieced together like stuff from reading other stuff. But it is very much this idea of the princess, and in a lot of them, it's like something happens and the princess is attacked, and so she has to go into hiding, and so her maid is pretending to be her for a reason.
Oh, interesting.
In some versions, but it's basically the same premise that you have here. It pretty. The only difference is that the prince finds the princess, and they're
Yeah, and
meant
I
to
feel
be
like
true love. So
I feel like in the original, it's probably the maid is bad, like, and gets
yeah,
punished.
probably.
And we don't see
I
that.
honestly, yeah, I can't. I know I've read over what the original was, but it's been a long time.
Yeah.
Um,
You know what you can also do is if you end up liking this reimagining, Tennille told me that there's a T. Kingfisher book that is also a reimagining of the Goose Girl.
that doesn't surprise me in the least.
I can't remember the title, but I know that recently Kingfisher, I think in the last year or two, one of the newest titles was a
Yeah,
reimagining of the Goose Girl.
well, that's nice, and it's a fun little fairy tale. And it's got that kind of classic, like I believe there are like trials that she has to do and things like that. So, Kristen says worked and ate toasted cherry pop tarts. Nice.
Nice.
Abrina says, Little Thieves is my first read of the month, and I give me 14 of them right now. Well, there you go. T. Kingfisher also has a similar version of it. Now I feel like I need to go find and read the original in order.
I know. I own like a massive collected works of the Grimm's fairy tales, so
Yeah.
it's probably in there.
I will have to see where the origin of the Goose Girl is, because I also have a thick old thing of Grimm's fairy tales. So
Yeah.
we finished Ace of Spades, so I'm taking a moment to process and start. Julie, feel free to take more than a moment. I know that book.
I can't wait to be that.
I don't want to spoil anyone, but I was yelling at that audiobook at the end. So when you guys finish, let me know, because I'll tell you the biggest thing that I'm sitting, like one of the biggest things that you're sitting there going, you're thinking during the end of that book, and then it happens and you're like, oh well, this went wrong.
Okay, I think I might be the only one in our buddy read who hasn't finished it yet.
Okay,
Because I'm pretty sure like Brittany and Rainey finished it. I don't know about Kelsey, but yeah. So,
Oh yeah, it's good. It's really good. I got to 51% and did decide to DNF. I've moved on to Susan, You're the Chosen One, which sounds like a fun time, and I'm looking forward to starting it. Wonderful.
It does. That sounds really funny.
Abs is with me. Love how practical and observant Vanya is. Me too. Me too. She's fun. And she's like, I think she makes a lot of poignant things that we can see as parallels to our society, but Margaret Owen is like the queen at like making those observations and talking about those things, without people realizing she's talking about those things, right?
Yeah, yeah. And she's got a good head on her shoulders. Like she will think, she'll rationalize. I think a lot of times we will see, main characters who just don't put two and two together, or they like clearly make a silly mistake. And I'm just like, well, why? Where I feel as though any action Vanya does, you get it. Like you understand why she reacted or acted. Yeah.
Even if you're like, girl, come on.
Yeah.
You understand why in the moment she made that decision.
Right, exactly.
I think that is a hard character to write too sometimes. Because I think it's easier to write a character that's like oblivious and silly and doesn't understand the stuff. So you have to actually like focus more when the character knows what's going on and is aware. Let's see. I love how I love the writing style and how she writes to us as well. Right. I love a fourth wall break.
Yeah. And I think she's the correct way to do a morally gray character. Because you want, like you were saying, how there's like nuances, there's social commentary on society. The reason why Vanya is the way that she is because of how society has treated her. That's her like view of justice as well, how she rationalizes what she does. Even when she's like stealing, she's like, these people, like, I don't feel any, like, I don't feel badly about it because of, so like her like moral compass
They'll be fine. I won't.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like you kind of get it. Whereas I think sometimes people say morally gray characters, and in reality, they're just like bad. Like they just don't care that they've done something horrible. Whereas like Vanya is like, no, I'm like seeking justice in my own way. I deserve this.
Taking justice for myself.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I do think we see some change in her in that matter. And we also see some change in someone else in that matter. I think we're going to see more of that change in the final book.
I can't wait.
Character. I don't want to spoil anything yet, though, because we're just in the beginning of the book. So, but I'm sure you and I will have like a lot of talking about it.
Oh my God, this connects to this.
So I'm 20% of as long as the lemon tree grows, and it's so sad, but also I can't put it down. Oof, those are hard books, but you can't put them down, but they're also tearing you apart. Finished volume 5 of Call the Name of the Night, a manga series, which means I finished the series overall. Pat yourself on the back.
Exactly. Series.
I enjoyed it very much and definitely will reread it in the future. Listen, Leandra, did you see that I am paying myself to read books?
No, I love this.
I get $1 if I finish a book on my TBR. I get $1 if I finish a book on my 25 and 25. And here, and it's working. I get $5 if I finish it or get caught up on a series.
You know what? That's such a great idea because then you're also like saving money and you can then go like use it to buy more books or whatever you want to do.
I just posted the first with my TBR. I just posted the first counting of things, and I'm just like, do you see how this is working, guys? Do you see all of the series? I'm like, I'm gonna finish this now. So anyways,
that's the motivation.
Give yourself a pat on the back, Hannah, because I know that like even with manga, finishing a series can be hard. Anne is enjoying the audiobook. Beautiful. My son is 11. He's in 7th grade and he's learning MLA format. Good old MLA format, how to cite sources. I wish. I don't think I think Son of Citation Machine is gone, Crystal. Son of Citation Machine was my best friend in college because like I would always double check, but like it would do the citation for you and you just set the format, it told you what information you needed and put it all together for you. It's a skill I don't think people are learning as well.
No, I can attest that. I've taught like a few college courses and I'm just like, guys, this is so important. You don't understand what, like, of course it depends on where they're coming from, if their own educational system has supported them and like taught them. But I can just tell that a lot of students that were coming in, at least to the college I was teaching at, didn't register why, I was like, I had to take the time to teach them why it was important. And it's not really anything that you also want to waste time in, at least at college, teaching them how to do it. Like they should have learned ahead of time. And it's just
they should have, but I wouldn't say it's a waste of time because now they at least they have the information and they can look it up.
Yeah, it's just like, more so it then condenses the time to teach anything else. And I was like, okay, if we're gonna take time to do this, you guys are gonna do a lot of reading. And we're
yes, you are. Like it is. I think it's trickier now too to cite sources because so many of the sources we cite are websites.
Oh, like 100%.
So one of excuse me. I was just listening to something that a podcast where they tried to go back and look at one of the citations, and it was gone because they were basically going through a book and like making commentary on it was a political book and making commentary, and it was gone. Like the website didn't exist anymore. All right, let's get through this real quick. There was a lot of pacing in my living room while finishing. Ooh, reading an arc. I am reading an arc by Sean Gilbert. I did Warn Her and Alice Feeney's Beautiful Ugly simultaneously.
Ooh.
Only someone would pay us to read books. Listen, I'm going to pay myself.
Yeah,
there we go. Oh, got to a jaw-dropping section of Blood Debts. Had to put it down for a moment and fell asleep. Oh, no. You know what? It's going to be interesting knowing what's going to happen in Painted Devils, because I know there were several places in Painted Devils where I had to be like, okay, I need to close the book and breathe for a minute.
Yeah. Even I will very quickly, even that little opening section when we see the kind of the fable, the fairy tale where Vanya meets like her godmothers, and I was like, there are so many little details in this like couple pages. I was like, oh my gosh.
I texted Leander this, but I was the Miss Scarlet, the flames coming out of my head. I like every freaking time. But yeah, no, I can get through a lot of stuff. I have a hard time with secondhand embarrassment when I'm reading stuff.
Oh yeah.
100%. I don't know why. But anyways, let us pull this back up. Let's do some more reading. I apologize. I didn't get it quite quick enough. We have 4 seconds less than last time, but we'll survive. All right, we're going in 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Hi, welcome back, everybody.
Hello.
Got to page 90 that time. We are about to have, no, wait, I don't think, yeah, we're about to have the chase around the table where I am.
Ooh, yes. I ended up having to pause, have a bit of an early dinner, and so I ended up just getting to the end of chapter 5.
Oh, nice.
Yes. So we had the scene with Yannick.
Okay. Okay, yeah. So you're there. That's
yeah, and we've met Ragna as well, which everyone can agree is a fan favorite.
Everyone loves Ragna. Who wouldn't love Ragna?
Yeah, and I with the audio, because this is my first time, I'm loving like the different voices, depending on yeah.
She does so good with the different voices. Just it's just so fantastic, and it's so effort. Like I feel like it's one of the things that's nice about the way the characters interact with each other is it's just so effortlessly funny.
Yeah.
Right? Amongst the good characters. Like it's just like, of course, this is how this conversation would go.
And I'm so impressed that it really is like very dialogue, like relationship heavy. Like we have a lot of discussions, we have a lot of characters, and like it's a very much kind of character driven, but there's obviously a plot driven too because of the curse.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and then it's also beautifully written. Like even the moments when she's interacting with Death and Fortune. Just like this one line when they leave and it says, "Then they vanish in a chorus of coins, bones, and whispering shrouds." And there's just like little like, you know, beautiful language, and you know there's more lyrical stuff in here than that, but that was like one thing I had to grab very quickly to mention.
Yeah, my favorite, we just had her read hold on, or her just had her say, and I giggled at this, it turns out the keys to a child's heart are weapons and card scams.
It's like, yes.
Talking about I mean, listen, as long as the children are supervised and doing the knife throwing safely, it's fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
Oh, that's such a hilarious scene. But I enjoy like the depth of the world building too. Because like I don't know if you noticed, but like in the carriage, when she's like getting into the carriage, they hand her like the skin full of warm water, and I was like, oh, that's right. She's in a world where they don't have heaters or anything.
Like, yeah, like the technology isn't there.
You could in fact freeze to death on the way home potentially.
Yeah, and I'm a huge fan of books that discuss the importance of like God's existence being related to beliefs, like culture and everything. Like these low gods, the form that they take, what they can do, how powerful they are, is dependent on the area in which they inhabit. Because that's why she says that she's trying to get out of the Blessed Kingdom or the Blessed Empire, because there's a suggestion that Death and Fortune will look different, they'll be different, and they then in those other scenarios won't be her godmothers. And I find that really interesting. I don't know if you heard that. Someone's like honking outside.
I hope that doesn't surprise me. Y'all are crazy up in the Northeast.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I think there must be, because I live in apartments, and so I'm assuming they just like drop someone off and, you know, was like, or like leaving, but it still startles me.
My brother lives in downtown Baltimore, so like we've been playing D&D, and like there'll just be an ambulance going on in the background. I'll be like, "That you, bro? They coming for you?"
Literally on my other side, yeah, it's a main road, and that it's like, yeah, the main thoroughfare. Everything goes through there, and I'm just like, we'll let it pass. Especially when you're recording, I'm like, I'm just gonna wait a second, let it get by, and then I'm like, let's continue.
I live close enough to the airport in Tampa that I sometimes have to pause for planes. So depending on where they're coming from. And then there's a small local airport near me as well. So it's like,
seriously. Speaking of technology, what a great segue. None of these things are what's in Vanya's world.
Yes. Also, I can't believe I did not because I know that like a lot of this is based on Slavic mythology and folklore. I cannot believe you said Blessed Empire. I cannot like I was realizing this as I was reading. I can't believe that I didn't clock that this is the Holy Roman Empire, basically. Like the German Empire, what it was before everything split up in World War I, I think it was, or somewhere around that area.
Interesting. I didn't consider that either.
Because it was like the Prussian Empire is it's feeling like kind of around the 1800s ish, based on what she's saying. And I love it when like you can see the like tendrils of the history that you're pulling stuff from when you're building a fantasy world like this. I'm such a history nerd. I love it.
Yeah, so. It just shows the layers. Like we're talking about like the personal journey of Anya, but also like the political elements and like the wars going on and the poverty too.
Yeah, and the way the politics impact her specific, not only her specific situation on who she's pretending to be, but who she is as a person. Like,
it's crazy.
I haven't quite gotten to where the Margrave has gotten back in, but I'm not looking forward to having him come back.
No, I'm not. Me neither. But I even forgot about the interaction. I forgot about Yannick as a character and the interactions and even the backstory surrounding him, because their interaction, the reason why it goes so poorly is because of something that he's partaking in, and that adds another layer of so. And this is a YA book. Anyone who argues that YA books can't be complex, this is a really good example that it can, very much so.
And I feel like these books are aimed like you know how sometimes you'll have YA fantasy and it's like, was this really written for teens? I feel like this one, the way it approaches a lot of the subjects it approaches, like, there are some there that are like, that's more of a thing that like maybe the kids aren't going to get, but the adults will. But a lot of it feels like she actually had teenagers in mind when she's writing these books and talking about them.
And respecting teenagers, like level of intellect, that you can challenge them to like process these things and not have to like talk down to them too.
Their level of intellect, their own experiences. A lot of the time, I know that's what we're dealing with a lot of that here in Florida, which is like, oh, well, kids shouldn't be reading these specific subjects. And it's like, there are kids that have had this happen to them. You realize that, right?
Exactly.
Fiction is such a great way to process things. So
I agree.
Much healthier way than some of the ways that I've heard people processing things. So, but let's see where everyone else not that I'm not angry, I'm just disappointed.
Oh, death.
Listen, I'm not blank, just disappointed is such a clutch joke.
And it's very Death to say that. I feel like Fortune wouldn't say that, but Death is like, yeah.
Taught you better than this. Hello, Julia. Desperately trying to finish True History of the Kelly Gang by Peter Carey today so I can move on with my life.
Yeah, it's like a modern classic, isn't it? I think it's on a lot of lists.
Yeah. Nice.
I don't think I'll ever read it.
Yeah, hi, Brittany. Reading Good is Dead. You should be reading Little Thieves, Brittany. We've talked about this. Brittany. I'm not going to yell at many people. I promise. I won't yell at most people, but I'm allowed to yell at Brittany. I mean, in chapter 8, I love Ragna. I've laughed out loud at multiple things. She's just so unfiltered and hilarious. Like she is the definition of hingeless. So, okay. We have some hellos. Yeah, Death and Fortune are also fun, and I like kind of what we do with their characters without giving too much away.
Yeah, and like the discussion of, Vanya, like her issue with them and them raising her and then kind of saying, okay, you've got this ultimatum to serve one of us, and her saying, I just wanted to be your daughter. And like not having the words to tell these low gods that she thought they were her parents. I don't know. It's really interesting.
I feel like there are a lot of people that have had, not necessarily in the pitting yourself against each parent. I mean, there are kids that have dealt with like being pitted against parents. But I feel like there are a lot of kids that have been in that situation where you're like, no, wait, I thought I was your kid and you're putting this ultimatum before me.
Yeah. Like, also, it reminds me of a Bluey episode. I know that's like a crazy comparison. But there's a Bluey episode where one of the friends, like they have like the mom is a part of one team and the dad's a part of a different team and they're fighting against each other. Like, it's a game and they're watching it on TV and the little kid is like, I don't know who I should be, like which parent should I choose? And it's like, you're not choosing a parent, but you feel like the team you're rooting for, you're siding with that parent. And it's just like, oh, yeah. So Bluey, guys, Bluey is so influential.
Okay. Okay. I was editing my blog for tomorrow to reset after finishing my book. Then my phone distracted me. To be honest, if this was not this book, there's a very good chance I would be distracted. So I've just been like, I've started painting again a little bit, and so I've just like put the audiobook on and I've been painting.
I love that.
So I'll send you a picture of what I did. But just starting chapter 5, I don't have the audio, and one of my cats is making it very difficult to read. Read to your cat.
Also, that's very fitting because one of the animals that Ragna.
Yeah, she spends a lot of time as a cat, doesn't she?
She does.
Yeah. Got to 20% of my book and made dinner. Very nice. Got to page 183 of Hello Beautiful by Anne Napolitano, lounge book for the Get a Clue Readathon. Yes. Made it to the start of the second tale. This is such a unique story. I love the narrative framing of this story too. Like when you talk about the tales. Excuse me, I have the hiccups. 80% into Fourth Wing. It's okay. I can definitely tell where this story is going. I haven't watched your video on it, Leander, yet, but I am saving that. No, I am saving that for a time that I can like sit down with a cup of tea and just enjoy it because I know I'm going to.
Well, it's for those who definitely agree or see what I'm talking about. But I know that there's someone in the comments who's reading Onyx Storm. Hope you're enjoying it. I hope you're having the best time. But
yes.
It wasn't for me.
Yeah, I thought it was very readable. And I was enthralled the entire time. But yeah.
Palette cleanser, easy.
Yes, it is one of it. Yeah. Margaret Owens does such a great job of establishing the characters. You understand their personalities immediately. I really don't get why all of these kids pretend to try to school me.
Catherine, that was my question. I was like, are we all this is
I believe I haven't read I finished the first book and was like, you know what? Good time. Don't need to continue on with the series because like we don't want my channel to just be about me like talking about books that I know I may not like. So I was just like, but I have heard things from people who have read it that she does try and put some reasoning behind that, if that makes sense, right?
I've been told that Iron Flame explains a few things, and unfortunately, I'm like, I don't. Well, it's up to you as the reader if you're willing to continue reading to get those answers, right?
And you can. Like that can be done really well where those, like, I don't think every question needs to be answered in the first book, especially not for something like a series. It's just, are you as the reader invested enough that you want to continue on with that? And for me, I just decided no.
Yeah.
So,
me too.
No, wait, I've already done that. Read 2 chapters and watched a lecture for a college course. Boring but productive. You know what? You got some work done. You got it. I have not yet. I need to read it because I will probably read it once we're done with this. So worked and drank coffee. I'm in Phoenix and not in a great area. Fights and police here so often, and I'm generally unfazed. I tend to live in a relatively affluent area, so I don't see much of that. But like my brother is definitely in a place, like he's right off of a major street too, around the park. So like when I go visit him, like I can sit at his picture window and I can watch the police and the ambulances pass by.
Yeah.
So, and it's not always bad because like they just keep the police at that park. Okay. Hoping to finish Green Glass House tonight. My Kindle says I have 2 hours left. Hello, Megan. Definitely should because I need to continue. You do. I have this after this weekend because of a video with prompts all day. Yes, and I need, Brittany, we need all of your thoughts. I'm pretty sure we're both very invested in all of your thoughts. The daughter deadline broke my heart. Yeah. And Brittany, I will tell you the same thing I tell people with the Percy Jackson series, by the way. I don't need everyone to like it. I just need everyone to read this book. I won't speak for you, Leandra, but that's my stance.
No, you must like it. How dare you not like a book I love? It's fine.
pause that. I think we'll do a slightly shorter sprint this next one, but we only have a few more comments. I'm feeling like more like a 45 because I feel like 6:30 was kind of my ish.
That's fine by me.
Fun fact, kiddos that are watching this, YouTube promotes stuff more if you make it past 3 hours. You're doing a live.
Interesting.
Yes. If anybody's been like, why does Margaret always do 3 hours? True history of the Kelly gang has no quotation marks and hardly any punctuation and deliberate bad grammar. Interesting. Someone knows that Bluey episode. I spent all of my time. Oh, cat or a dog? Either one, to be honest. Second time right now. Oh. Just ate some lasagna and 3 cheese sourdough garlic bread. I feel productive and sleepy. I'm near Tampa, so I'm about 30 minutes to an hour outside of Tampa, depending on traffic.
Yeah, and I'm originally from New York, but now I'm in southern Pennsylvania. So that's where
nice.
I am. Yeah,
I would say that's quite a ways to go, but I know that feels like a good transition. Like that feels like one that would happen.
Yeah, and I will say it's like it is a stark difference, like being in southern PA because I'm very close to the Maryland border versus where I was growing up in New York, I was closer to the Canadian border. So it's like I'm like from the north of one state to like the very south of another. So I didn't expect it to be very different, but it is.
Yeah. That does not surprise me because Florida's the same way. Like North Florida is a completely different vibe than Central Florida versus South Florida. Like I'm kind of in the between of South Florida and Central Florida here, but the way we say is Florida gets more southern the further north you go.
I love it.
The rednecks are all up in North Florida because that's where Georgia is and Alabama. I've been reading random yellow covered books off my shelves called The Life of the Party, random anecdotes and funny stories about 50 celebrities. Nice. I am near the end of tale 1. I'm not sure how I feel about it. It's definitely like, if you haven't already, check some of the trigger warnings on this book because it is definitely a book that's going to like hit you really hard if you have any sort of like any sort of trauma surrounding like sexual assault or discomfort with that. And also like conflict between a child and their parents, because a lot of this is just about a child and their parents. So,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I appreciate that she puts those trigger warnings in the author's note for people. Lived in Florida and Texas too. Very nice. I haven't lived in Texas. I've been there. Canadians are just
yes, the Canadian influence. I loved it. We had Tim Hortons, so yeah.
I know. Okay, so I discovered the beauty of Timbits, and I came down back home, and I found out that there used to be a Tim Hortons in Tampa, but it had closed down like literally months before. I'm just like, where do I get my Timbits from? Good evening, Sherry. I do love how many Canadian things you know from growing up close to when I talk about them. I only know the Canadian things because I have so many Canadian friends. Yep. Okay, give me a second. Let me adjust this to 45.
Sounds good.
Because that'll be a good time for me to like stop and then I can go get dinner and all of that good stuff. I don't know what you just did, but no, let's not do that. Stop. Thank you, please. Bye. Okay. Lucas and I don't always get along. I don't know if you do the thing, but I sit there and I watch the timer and make sure that I've had it glitch on me enough times that I like watch it and like, are you going to do the right thing?
Like,
are you going to do the right thing?
You better follow.
Are you going to suddenly weirdly swap to 15 minutes? So anyways, all right, last 45 minutes. I will see y'all in a bit. We're going in 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Well, we just accidentally skipped forward in the audiobook, but I got to the very beginning of part 2.
Whoa.
It'll be easy to pick, so that's nice. How did you do?
I just finished the first tale, and I'm about to start the second one. So
Nice.
yeah, I was like, this is perfect timing that I just finished the first tale, feeling content. So yeah.
For now.
For now, I know. It's I love how there are moments where Vanya is like trying to figure out how to like, fix her situation. And she's like, oh, well, I tried. And there's one moment where Ragna like looks at her being like, you did? And she's like, shut up. She's like, that was you trying?
She is someone who has a problem and hasn't figured out how to fix it yet. Like she's literally just like throwing spaghetti at the wall for everything that she knows she can do. Right? But she doesn't, like, there were no instructions given to her, which problem on the Icevald's part, honestly.
Yeah, even when she's trying to ask Ragna and Ragna just like repeats it, she's like, no, I know, but can you give me more? And she's like, no.
I heard that part. I don't think Ragna knows, if I remember correctly.
No, I think at first she says like, no, you're being mean, I don't want to help you. And then after she's like, yeah, no, I really don't know what my mom wants you to do.
Listen, the instructions don't make sense to me either, man. That's fun. That's fun. We just, Emmerich and Vanya just had their first like actual meeting, because like they meet several times in this book, but they don't actually meet each other. Truly. And that is legitimately one of my favorite scenes in fiction.
I can't wait. I can't wait to get to it.
I know. I'm reading this and I'm going, I need this dynamic in like an adult fantasy book. Like this exact dynamic right here. Right.
Yeah, and I think that when like that moment when they finally meet, it's almost like you're actually starting a new narrative, because they've both been performing this entire time. And obviously you don't know until you kind of see all of the big pictures. But yeah, like they've both been wearing other identities in a way.
They're starting to pull that curtain back, but they haven't quite gotten there yet. Although I do love, I love that Margaret Owen doesn't do the thing that you would think she would do with like, you wouldn't think that this would be happening as early in the book as it does. But she has so much more plan for what's going to happen in this narrative. I'm just like so impressed with like where she takes this story. So
yeah, she doesn't, I don't think she drags anything out, which sometimes authors do, for better or for worse, where it's like, okay, we're lengthening it, giving it a bit more time than maybe it needs. Whereas I feel like she doesn't do that.
Yeah, I feel it was like a different book. This part right here could be like the section could be like 3/4 of the book, right? With like the back and forth and the like near misses and stuff, and then the fun. But she's like, no, we're gonna go into like, she's like, I have so many more fun things planned for you.
Yeah, I have other full books. Like we do not have time.
We're gonna do this. I'm mad. There's only 3 books in this series right now.
I know, but you know what? Soon the wait is over. Soon the wait will be over in just a couple.
I know. I'm just like, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? I'm just gonna have to reread it again.
Yeah, or go on to that duology that we need to finally.
Yeah, we could do that. We could do that too. Yeah, yeah. So, and I did do some research because I couldn't remember if it was like the Holy Roman Empire or the Austrian Empire. Because the Holy Roman Empire is what eventually became the Austrian Empire. The time period I'm thinking of is feeling more Austrian Empire. Like I looked up dates and stuff. So anyways, if anybody wants to kind of get an idea of, be a nerd and get an idea of like the general time period she seems to be basing this off of, I need to sit down and have a conversation with Margaret Owen about what time period, like what she's pulling and the difference. Because I want to make a costume where because red hair, Vanya Schmidt can do this. I want to do that, but I need more information about where it's placed so I know what patterns to look up.
Yeah, you want to feel a bit more accurate. I also, not this sprint, but last sprint, I ended up grabbing my edition of Brothers Grimm, and I found the Goose Girl, and it's actually really short. Like my edition, it's like maybe 5 pages. Let me see here. Page 283 to 289. So it's really only like 6 pages in this. And I mean, this is what the font size is. So it's, I feel like if anybody's interested in reading The Goose Girl, it probably would take like a half an hour, maybe an hour, and then
maybe less.
if you're taking your time.
Fascinating how many like how much story you can find in Grimm's fairy tales.
Yeah, because actually, like I said, it's only being 6 pages, and we have an entire trilogy that's like obviously inspired from it. So that's
wow. Like, and so many of these stories are the basis for other stories that we get later, and it's like it's amazing just how much stuff, like how good they did this, but then how much you're able to like expand on what they did.
Yeah, I just noticed your little tagline under your name. Vanya Schmidt Defense Squad. I was like, oh, what's that?
One of these days, I'm gonna sit down and actually make a T-shirt that says the Vanya Schmidt Defense Club, and then also one that says the Lila Bard Defense Squad, because I feel like those are like Vanya is just maligned in general because of the story, but like I feel like Lila Bard gets maligned a lot as a character because people misunderstand what her character is supposed to be doing. Mm-hmm. Someday I will get to that. But we had some more people join us. Hello. Oh, I was hit with more ideas for my novel and had to free write 3 pages. So productive in a different way. Listen, you've got to go when the inspiration strikes. I know this so well. Good evening, RK. Welcome. Hello. Yes, you missed. I mean, you got in towards the end of one. You got a little bit of one. I won't be able to start the book until near the end of the month, but I'm excited. Hey, listen, if we didn't have these planned this weekend, I probably would be reading the book like the last week of the month. Mm-hmm. Typically, that's what I do with book clubs.
Yeah. But I feel like that we had this weekend free for both you and me to do it.
Yeah.
And also it kind of like got people excited so that if you needed to start early, you could. Mm-hmm. But I'm not going to be finishing this book this weekend, for instance.
No, absolutely not. I'm going to try. I have a goal for what I want to actually get read this weekend. I'm actually way past my goal at this point, but that's fine. But like when I'm not running book clubs, I'm not taking notes. Mm-hmm. So like if I'm running the book club, I'm going to be taking notes and discussing things. Or the one running the event, like a part of it, having to discuss it. If I don't know that I'm going to need to discuss it on camera, not happening. So usually I'll just be like, I'm just going to read it right before they're doing we do the book club, and then it'll be fresh in my memory. Mm-hmm. So if I'm not having to help lead anything, no work on my part. Made it to part 2. Baby is napping, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to nap as well. Thanks for the sprints. You're welcome, Kendra. We will see you tomorrow. Speaking of, Leandra's sprints are linked down below in the description box for tomorrow. If you guys want to go click that link and hit notify, or click on her channel because she's linked down there. Tamil, hello. Welcome back. Back home after a long day with lots of driving, aiming to have supper and decompress. Super, I thought my brain said super and decompress. I was like, okay, supper and decompress enough to read more of Little Thieves. I finished part 1 last night. Very nice. So exciting. Can heavily relate to the cat hair on the pillow.
I'm glad Abs mentioned it because there's what was it said? No pillow is safe.
No pillow. Listen, as someone who once owned a dog that they're not supposed to shed, but Schnauzers they do shed. And you were not safe from her hairs. They would find ways to get under your skin,
everywhere.
Pretty sure most of my notes are just stuff Ragna has said or done. Ragna is such a mood the entire time.
Such a mood. Yeah.
This sausage scene is so great. I love it. Second Tail has drawn me back in. Love that.
Good.
Got to 28%. About 60 pages left in my book. So hopefully I'll be spinning for a new clue prompt in about an hour. Worked a bit. And then sometimes we need that foam break. I think tonight is going to be a watching Critical Role break is what's going to happen because I did a lot of reading.
Oh, yeah. No, that's a really good choice, by the way.
Yeah. So I'm trying to get all the way caught up on campaign 3 before the VOD loads onto YouTube, which is Monday. It's not happening, but I'm going to try. So still editing, but started the Little Thieves audiobook while I put dinner in the oven. It's such a good audiobook, isn't it, Julie? Now that you've gotten further into the audiobook, by the way, Leandra, how are we feeling about it still? Are we still liking it?
Yeah, I'm still liking it. And I'm, because sometimes too with audiobook narrators, you never know what their range is going to be. And again, that's not a criticism on the narrator, but sometimes you can see that a narrator doesn't have a huge range. And suddenly, like in this, as you said, Austrian Empire inspired world, we have like a Southern, like a US Southern character. And I'm like, where did you get in here?
Listen.
So this one, I feel like all of the accents make sense, the way I view the world. And like, yeah, I still love how the narrator is differentiating voice, even if it's Vanya's voice versus
she's like 3 different voices for Vanya, because she's got Vanya's actual voice, she has the one for Giselle, and she has the one for Marta. So that's like
so much.
I noticed that in the last chapter I was reading, because she switches between the voices a couple of times in there. Like she used like 4 different voices in that scene because Vanya is playing like 4 different characters. So Jamie says, I only got 8 pages read. The floof monster sat on my book demanding pets and chin scratches. What could I do but comply? Listen, you got to get them early or they're going to take over that book. So I made it to page 125. Oh no, I have to re-record my weekly wrap-up video because the audio managed to not exist by the time my video uploaded last night.
What?
That sucks. Oh God, that really sucks. I'm so sorry, Jamie. That's really
sorry, Jamie.
Hi, Helen. Welcome. Tennille says, watch the chatty bits. The Kingfisher one that's supposed to be based on the Goose Girl is a sorceress comes to call. Yes, I've heard about that one. There are geese on the end papers. The minute I was like, yes, I know that title.
Also, I love that I mentioned Tennille, and Tennille's like, yes, I have the answer. And I'm like, thank you so much.
Oh, God. What would we do without you, Tennille? Made it to chapter 11. It is very fast-paced. She does a really good job of pacing in this. Like, it's never too fast, but it doesn't give you a lot of room to breathe. Finished Blood Debts and immediately borrowed Blood Justice. Of course. Why wouldn't you? You are welcome. There are going to be more sprints for tomorrow. For this after tomorrow, I think right now we're just doing like one weekend, but I am sure we can find you some people to sprint with the rest of the week. I know Leandra will have sprints on Tuesday. Yeah. I mean, it might be the one Tuesday you don't have sprints, but
no, I will. And also the following weekend, whether you're doing Get a Clue or not, there's supposed to be a bunch of sprints because we're doing an event. I don't think Rainey has announced it yet, or she has, but so we're doing a big event where there's going to be a bunch of sprints. So if you want to join us, Hillary, next week or next weekend around the same times, you'll have people to sprint with.
And I'll be on Aoife over Pretty Purple Polka Dots channel with Julie because we're doing the Old Lady Crafts book club sprints. So
perfect.
I will be done with this book before then, but probably because we're all doing it's Bring Your Own Romance for that one.
That's so cute.
Okay, we got some more hellos with people. I went in totally blind and was blown away. Yeah, it is. It's really, I've heard so many good things about it from Nell. So hello, Eagle Mask. You are very welcome. We got somebody clicking me. Yeah, I read Blood Debts on Nell's recommendation with no idea what to expect and grabbed Blood Justice immediately after. Ooh, I need to read this one. Page 20 of Hamnet by Maggie O'Farrell. I'm a show early, so I am also trying to catch it. I'm on, I think I just got to episode 81 or 82. We're right after Ashton had his big fuck up and is trying to, or no, we're right after the Fey Realm. So if anybody knows what I'm talking about, you are very welcome. Yay, card. Leandra, before we go, do you have anything happening on your channel? We know we have sprints on your channel tomorrow. Anything else you want to plug that you've posted recently or is upcoming?
Well, obviously, yes, we've got sprints tomorrow, and then I've got sprints Tuesday. But this past Thursday, I did my final vlog for TBR-thon. It's very cozy and relaxed. So if people are interested in watching it, or they can wait until next Thursday because I'll have another video then. That's it.
You guys should go watch that one. I'm sure it's going to. It's lovely. Your vlogs are always so lovely and fun. I'm behind because I've been editing, but they're so lovely and fun.
It's hard. I think vlogs are like, you got to like think about like B-roll and stuff. So I'm very lucky that this one ended up working out really well, and it is very cozy.
Nice. Beautiful. All right. And if you have anything you want to watch from me, or if you have the time to watch anything from me, I did just post my February TBR, which talks about this read along, along with all of the book clubs I'm doing this month. because I couldn't say no.
I know, we can't say no.
I'm trying to get involved in a couple of local ones. I don't know if all of them are going to work out, but yeah, it should be fun. So Leandra is linked down below in the description box, as well as the announcement for this read along and the link for sprints tomorrow at noon Eastern time. Yeah.
Yes.
Beautiful. We're trying to get the sprints done before everyone's going to need to watch the Super Bowl.
Yeah. For those who want to watch, we don't want to like take up your time.
We know we can't compete with Kendrick or with the Taylor, because she's going to be on screen at least once. So
yeah, it's very true. Like we don't even mention the sports part. We're just mentioning
nobody.
Yeah.
Have you seen the speculation that she'll like come out and they'll do Bad Blood? I'm like, I don't know that that's going to happen, but that would be so sick.
That would be really great. I haven't heard that theory though. So if it does happen though.
So. All right. Well, thank you all for joining us, and we will see you later when we'll talk about more wordy nerdy